What the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes here, back with another action figure review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the next figure in the One Piece line. It is none other than the SH Figuarts Eustass Kid, or the third idiot in the trio that is Luffy, Law, and now Kid. So let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off with the sexy packaging. Now, the box on this guy is pretty dang huge, as he's probably the second biggest figure we've gotten in the line so far. Obviously, number one is going to be Kaido. I don't know, Yamato might be next. We'll see. But anyway, we got the window where we can see the figure. It says One Piece right there. All along the side and the top, it is built or kind of designed like a map, as we've discussed before. I love the way this guy looks, by the way. It says Eustass Kid right there. We've got the Toei logo at the bottom. Tamashii Nation's quality sticker of approval. Bandai, Tamashii Nations again. We've got some images along the side. Mostly of the accessories we're going to get with this guy. Facial expressions and everything. I love this look for Luffy. Can't wait to pose him with that. Right here, we've got him kind of laughing. On the side, we've got him laughing and attacking. Then, of course, on the back, we've got some images of this guy all posed up. Really love the one in the top right with all of the Photoshop and detail in there. That just looks really good. Funny enough, all of this, or a lot of this, is actually in English this time around. Of course, not everything. I can't read all this at the bottom because it was imported, but that doesn't matter. That's not what we're here for. So let's go ahead and bust this guy out of the package so we can see what it's all about. Now, given the track record of the One Piece line, I definitely wasn't expecting anything close to a masterpiece when it came to this figure. In fact, I immediately looked at all the promo images and identified what I was sure was going to be quite a few problems, and I'm sure you guys did the same thing. But I do want to go ahead and address one of the things a lot of us probably thought was going to be a problem that isn't entirely one, and it's the fact that he can actually stand up without a stand. We looked at this guy, we saw how top heavy he was clearly going to be because of the skinny lower legs, and we were sure this one was going to either fall forward or fall backwards. But if you balance him just right, then he stands pretty good, and that just shows the key to life is balance. What does that have to do with this figure? Absolutely nothing entirely, but it could. But yeah, I'll be honest, right out of the package, man, this thing looks really damn good. Like, in my opinion, this is probably the best looking One Piece figure we've gotten so far. Like, they really put some detail into this guy, and I'm wondering how it's going to look once I have him posed up next to some of the other One Piece figures, because he's got a lot of sculpted muscles and detail in there, and it's not a soft sculpt like Luffy and Law. It's very detailed, so he could look a bit different. It's almost like comparing early Z art style to later Z art style. And yes, we're talking about Dragon Ball for those of you who don't know. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and take a closer look at this guy so we can examine some of these details. So I am going to go ahead and say it. I do not like this jacket piece, yo. It's just too hard of a plastic, and I know why they did it, because they didn't want to make this into soft goods. It probably would have cost them quite a bit of money. And with this figure being an entirely new sculpt with crazy posable articulated fingers, it just would have cost Tamashii Nations a lot of money to make. But I don't think you can take this cape off, man. I think it's just like Law. I wish they would have at least done it like Kaido so it would come off. Now, that being said, I don't think he ever even took it off in the Wano arc, but it's just way too much, man. Way too much, and it's here to cause a problem. Now that I've got that out of the way, onto the figure itself. Head sculpt looks phenomenal. This just looks superb. This is Oda's art down to the T, man. I'll give Tamashii Nations this. When it comes to making these One Piece figures, the facial expressions and everything, the paintwork, the detail, it's all there in every figure they release. If they could just get the QC down, then they'd really be on point. Now, anyway, the hair is just one solid red color, no shading or anything like that. But then you have the detailing in the scarring. That looks really good. I love how you have the metal parts coming up on the neck for his devil fruit ability. Again, these muscles on this guy look just crazy detailed. If you look at him, yo, a lot of sculpt work being put in there. The shoulders are pretty much like Revoltex, meaning that there's really no sculpted underside here. It's on a ball joint, and I mean, it works, so I'm not going to complain about it. And it's going to be covered by the jacket most of the time too, so that's fine with me. It is a weird choice, but I'm not going to complain about something that works. When it comes to the torso area, you guys see it though. Look at this man. He is hella toned, yo. I dig this a whole lot. The paintwork and everything looking good. I just realized my guy can't even button up his shirt, yo. The chest piece is on point. This is crazy, man. I also love this little floating piece right here. The paintwork and everything, for the most part, is clean. I've got a paint splotch right here, bro. Right here, bro. But it's actually coming off. It's coming off. So I'm not even going to complain about that. It came right off. I got to do a little bit more scratching, but that's good. The legs on this figure look good, a little too loose for me. Like, I'm not a fan of loose joints on a figure that needs to be able to stand up, especially if it's top heavy. The sculpt work and everything looks good, man. The paint is very clean on the pants and everything, all the way down to the feet. This guy's actually really good. In terms of how this figure looks and even the aesthetics of it, it's a solid 10 out of 10, man. I can't take that away. But how could I forget? How could I forget the most important thing? The robotic arm. Come on now. Come on now. This is peak Tamashii Nations, yo. Like, this is peak Tamashii Nations right here. Like, oh, well, we dropped that. But you can move these fingers around pretty much however you want to. That's cool. You got those weirdos that are going to be doing this. Yeah, whatever. It's unnecessary, but he can do it. So yeah, man, love this articulated hand here. This probably cost them the most to make. Now, anyway, let's go ahead and put him back and then pop back on these two fingers that came off. First off, when it comes to the height, he is pretty dang tall to the top of his head. He stands just a little bit over 7 inches right to the top of his forehead. You'll say he's just basically 6.5 inches, so almost a 7-inch, or pretty much a 7-inch scale figure. Now, of course, we're going to see how he scales next to some of the other One Piece figures, but he is taller than Luffy and Law, so it is to be expected that this figure is going to be taller. Whether it's accurate to the anime, who knows? One Piece has all different kinds of sizes and shapes and everything else. So yeah, we'll get to that once the time comes. Moving on to the articulation, I actually found out something I'm going to show you guys. This was a pretty smart move on Tamashii Nation's part. The cape piece here actually does come off. As you guys can see, there's a pretty big peg hole right there, so I'm glad about that. The cape is in 3 pieces, just like Kaido. It flares out 3 different ways, and that's pretty much how you do it. Still not the best design, but I mean, I guess it works. Anyway, moving that aside so we can see the maximum articulation on this guy. This is his standard look. That neck looks very off, yo. I guess taking the cape off made me realize it, but that looks so freaking off, man. I wish they would have did that a little bit better. Anyway, he doesn't look up at all because the hair is going to touch the back of the neck, but he does look down very, very well, so that's good. And the neck actually can lift and raise, but it's weird. This design is extremely ugly, but I guess it works. Anyway, he does get decent tilt and turn, but watch when you're messing with that because the faceplate does tend to come off. I've noticed the faceplates on this guy do come off pretty easy, so yeah, be careful with that. Anyway, arms go up and out about that much. Even the metal arm does hold a pose, so that's cool. He can bring them in forward about that much. Actually, he can bring them in all the way. Now, it's going to look super duper weird from certain angles, obviously, but the functionality is there. He does have a bicep swivel on both arms, double jointed elbows that work well. He can flex and show the muscles. Hands are on a ball peg, so that does work. Our hand is on a ball peg because we're about to talk about the other one, but yeah, that's good. This metal arm here is actually fairly light. It does have a built-in swivel. The elbow bend about that much, which that makes sense. You can't really expect that to go any more than that. No swivel right here, even though it looks like it does. And I showed you guys the fingers earlier. As you can see, you can make them into a fist. Be careful with this because if you break any of these pieces, there's nothing you can do about it. I would say if you try to move them and they're not moving, just put them in some hot water. That will always fix the problem. But yeah, try not to break this. This is a really good, it's not accessory, but it's a really good design. I dig it. Anyway, torso, he bends forward about that much, or diaphragm rather. Rocks very well. He does have a swivel right there. He leans forward even more using the lower ab crunch, so that is great. I love that. And when it comes to kicking forward, you guys see it. This man can give somebody the boot. I dig that all the way. He kicks all the way back. He can do the splits. He does have a thigh swivel, double jointed knees that work very freaking well. No swivel right here, sadly. No swivel at the upper boot, but he does bring his foot down all the way up, all the way. Really decent ankle rocker, and then he does have a toe hinge. So articulation wise, this guy is freaking masterpiece, yo. Like, I am okay with these ugly shoulders, and to be honest, I'm okay with everything on this figure, yo, except for this. Everything else so far has been great. The neck is ugly, but I mean, it's functional, so yeah. So for the remainder of the review, I am going to keep the cape off of him just because it's been too much of a pain trying to get him to stand up for this segment right here. And I still got to do the size comparisons. But anyway, when it comes to accessories, he comes with 4 right hands. He comes with this one where he's kind of reaching, grabbing. He comes with the Dragon Ball martial arts pose hands. He comes with another reaching, grabbing hand. And then he comes with one that is kind of more relaxed, I suppose. He also comes with 4 facial expressions. One where his teeth is gritted, he's clearly angry here. One where he's yelling, or more so, he looks kind of confused because one of the eyes is squinted. He comes with his grinning face. He also comes with the comedic face, which we're gonna put that on him in just a second and see how they all look posed up together. And then he does come with this angry face for Luffy. And even though I'm not going to show it, he does also come with a Tamashii Nation stand, which is tucked in the bottom of the package. Thankfully, they included that. For those of you who don't like stands on your shelf, this is one I highly recommend that you pose on the stand, because for one, if you plan on posing him with the cape and you do happen to get him in a standing pose, all it takes is a small gust of air for him to fall over, and at the same time you're going to be weakening the knees on this figure. The joints are already somewhat loose, and the longer you leave him standing, the more loose they're going to get as they try to hold him in a pose. So guys, if you pose him on your shelf, make sure you use the stand. Real quick, here Luffy is with this angry expression that comes with Kid, and can someone tell me what scene this comes from? I don't remember this at all, but he's clearly very irritated here. Moving on to size comparisons, here he is standing next to the SH Figuarts One Piece Monkey D. Luffy, the SH Figuarts Trafalgar Law, and of course the SH Figuarts Gear 5 Luffy. And as you can see, I have them all posed up from their looks in the iconic scene where they take on the blast from Big Mom, which was absolutely stupid, but I love the fact that Zoro was the one with the common sense in this scene, yo. It's just peak One Piece moments like that that really make me enjoy the series. Next up, here he is standing next to the SH Figuarts One Piece Sanji, the SH Figuarts Yamato, who is clearly still the tallest figure in the line, and then the SH Figuarts Zoro. Don't ask why he's missing pieces. I was doing some modding, okay? And we'll get back to that another time. Lastly, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends single-carded Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. We also have him standing next to the SH Figuarts Bleach 1000-Year Blood War Kenpachi Zaraki, which I just reviewed. Go check that out if you haven't already. And then we also have him standing next to a Figma Jujutsu Kaisen Greatness Yuji Itadori. Now, when it comes to my final thoughts on this figure, I'll go ahead and be honest with you guys. If the cape didn't stop the functionality of this figure, then this would definitely be at the top of the list in my top 10 action figures of 2024, because I want to be honest with you guys, man, I really enjoy this figure a lot, but sadly the cape is going to stop a lot of that whenever I start posing this guy around. It doesn't matter whether you use the stand or not. It's just certain poses you can put this figure into and hold it in your hand, but you're not going to be able to keep him like that on display. The stand isn't big enough to hold this guy up. It's just not gonna happen, man, unless you know what you're doing in terms of balance. And then at the end of the day, it's still going to tilt forward, tilt backward, one of the two. It's nothing you can do about it. Now, everything else on this figure though, I just love it. I love the sculpt work. I love the detail. I'm fine with the accessories. And when it comes to accessories, I know some people are probably going to say he doesn't come with enough, but this is one of those figures where you're paying for sculpt work, you're paying for detail, you're paying for paint, all of that good stuff, man. It's just one of those releases where it's not meant to come with a lot of accessories because the budget went everywhere else. That's just what this release is meant to be. And so I don't have any complaints about that at all, man. I think this figure came out very clean. I feel like they took a step in the right direction. It's just there's certain things about the One Piece line that Tamashii Nations needs to figure out how to implement to maximize collectors' enjoyability. And these capes are just not it. It sucked on Law, it sucks on Kaido, and now it sucks on this guy. And it's really ruining these figures for a lot of people, man. It's just, make it a softer plastic, if nothing else. Like, this is a really hard, gritty plastic that I think that they didn't have to use. Like, they could have made it a soft plastic and it would have been okay. And I don't mean a soft plastic like the one that came with Laws, because that was terrible. I don't know, man. There's got to be some way around this. Obviously, I'm no customizer, so I'm not going to be able to come up with anything, but hopefully Tamashii Nations will get it down. These One Piece figures are getting better. I believe the next figure to release is, actually, I don't know. I know we've got Ace up for pre-order, but I don't know. Oh, actually, the pre-time skip versions of Luffy and Nami are going to be next. I expect those to be really good figures. As long as they don't have any quality control issues, we should have no problems with those figures. Those should come out as 10 out of 10s. If this guy came out this good, those figures should come out damn near perfect. And I say the same exact thing about Ace, especially with the price of that figure. But I mean, he does come with a lot of accessories. So yeah, but overall, I do really enjoy this figure, man. It's gonna suck when I start posing him around and I realize I can't do a lot of what I want to, but it is what it is, man. We know what to expect when collecting these. But overall, I hope that you guys enjoyed this review. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That always helps me out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure to hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. And last but not least, follow me on everything you see listed in the description below to keep up with my activity outside of YouTube. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe wherever you are, and bye.